Field Day, 1988. As would happen in any disaster, the Marion Amateur Radio Club is on the scene trying to figure out where antennas can be hung, what can be done for communications here in Marion, Ohio, this field day, June the 25th, 1988. The hams are all discussing right now. They're looking at the layout here behind Marcus School, and they're trying to figure out the most efficient way to set up antennas. Following a tornado or other disaster, the amateur radio community would be called upon to set up communications. This is a test of its abilities. As you can see behind Marcus School, there are very few things to hang antennas on. The hams will assess the situation, and they will make a decision on how best to get communications established here in Marion.
Today.
Fine, Jack. Now, I see everybody's trying to figure out where the antennas are going to go, but this would be about the situation the Amateur Radio Club would find itself in following a tornado, where a lot of the natural structures are down. Have you figured out where you're going to hang the antennas yet?
Yeah, we pretty much have it set up. They're going to use one of the pieces of wood playground equipment out there to put one of the antennas on a mast pipe, and we have a trailer, portable trailer with a 20-foot tower on it. The other antennas, there'll be like about 3 antennas on that. We also have a 30-foot high mast pipe type tower that we're going to put up with at least 2 antennas. So that's what we're doing.
Okay, now field day will start in about 2.5 hours. Will everything be ready to go in 2.5 hours?
Oh yeah, it's 11 o'clock now. Actually, it's almost 3 hours, between, like you say, 2.5, 3 hours. Things will be ready. We're getting ready to hit or lick here and get things set up, and I think it's pretty well organized.
Okay, so this is actually a test to test the readiness of the Marion Amateur Radio Club and other radio clubs to provide disaster communications in an emergency.
That is correct. You are not supposed to start to set up before 10 o'clock, and the official time of starting operation is 2 o'clock. So you actually have 3 hours to set everything up from nothing.
Okay.
Really needed 100-foot tape to cut my dipole off. And here, let's put tape on that. Let's put tape on. Then your what? I think I left my splicer home. Your barrel connector, I'll pick you up one when I get it.
As you can see, they're going to be operating now the backs of trucks. They're going to be using all the available things that they can use here. And very shortly, Marion, Ohio will be on the air operating under disaster conditions. This will be a test to assess the readiness of the Marion Amateur Radio Club. There will be no commercial electric power used out here. As you can see, they will be operating from a field, and just everything will have to be brought in here. This will be a test that will work just as if it were an emergency, a disaster situation here in Marion. A lot of thoughts going out into it right now, figuring out how to get the antennas up, figuring out where the power is going to go, all the other things that have to be done for communications here at Field Day 1988. Equipment, it comes in trailers, it comes in cars. Hams that have available equipment, they'll bring it, and not the neatest looking thing, but the equipment is functional, it is on location, and very shortly the Marion Amateur Radio Club will be on there.
Good morning. It's about 11:09 a.m. on Saturday, 25th of June, 1988, and we're setting up for our 1988 Field Day. I'm Grant Powell, Field Day Chairman for the Marion Amateur Radio Club. The generators are here. We'll be operating totally away from the electrical mains so that we are self-contained power-wise, and we'll be operating a 24-hour period starting at 2 p.m. this afternoon. From then, we will operate continuously until 2 o'clock Sunday afternoon tomorrow. The reason we have Field Day is to test our ability to operate under less than ideal conditions. We're outdoors here. It happens to be hot today. We're expecting a thunderstorm tonight, and we don't have the normal types of shelter that we have for our everyday communication when emergencies don't exist. Amateurs are known for taking care of emergency situations. The fellows over here are preparing getting the trailer out so that they, he's going to latch the lid up so that it doesn't fall down on somebody's head, and he'll probably have to get on top of the roof to do that.
Generators are inside.
The generators are inside the trailer, and you might be able to see them. You can see one that's colored orange or red, I guess it would be. And that belongs to Cliff Bales. He's the fellow. No, you had it right the first time, Cliff.
Okay.
Yeah. There you go. He's the fellow with his back to us right now. This is an alternator assembly that Cliff built himself. He has an engine on it, and he took a off-the-shelf alternator, but he has made a regulator for it so that the voltage remains a lot more constant than what it does from the original manufacturer. If there is an expert on alternators, Cliff would be the fellow to talk to, and he has learned all of this on his own. There are a number of fellows out here. Jack Fetter, whose call sign is KB8DP, is going to be operating a packet radio station from inside the shelter here. A packet radio is a digital method of transmitting messages, and it operates quite fast. Jack can tell you more about it than what I can. The other operators out here will be using voice, or we call it phone, P-H-O-N-E in amateur radio. And some of the rest of us will be operating what's called CW, which stands for continuous wave, or you might think of it as the telegraph key, the guy tapping out the code. And that is still a requirement that you be able to use, that you know the International Morse code and be able to send and receive it in order to get a radio license today, because when all other methods of communication fail, continuous wave can always, almost always, get through when absolutely nothing else will work. So it's not the fastest anymore, but it is the one that is reliable, and if you're in a pinch, it will work for you. Well, here we are with some of the other operators starting to set up for Field Day. We'll come over here and ask them who they are and what they're doing. And sir, what might be your name?
Chris
I see Chris
Chesser.
And are you an amateur radio operator?
Yeah.
I see that you have a license to lounge. Is that what it says there? What class of amateur license is that?
Technician.
All right, Chris. And what are you fellows setting up over here?
We're going to be setting up a 3-element Mosley beam, which we're going to work for 10 meter, 10, 15, and 20 meters.
Well, I don't see anything to set it up on other than the ground out here. How do you...
Post setting back there, up where the coax was hanging.
Ah, so, okay. Oh, wow. Very inventive, you hams, aren't you?
We're going to set it on monkey bars.
And who might this be?
Dan Burns, N8JMF.
Hello, Dan. Very good. Nice to hear some phonetics. That makes it easy for us all to understand. So this is the beam, all this one little package?
Yeah, we've torn it apart this morning to disassemble it to get it in the truck and get out here.
Why is it called a beam?
Directional. One direction, more directional in one direction than any other. And got a good front to back cut back on the signals coming in the back. We point it to where we want it to talk, and it talks back to that direction.
So it's sort of like having a flashlight instead of just having a light bulb sticking out in the open.
Absolutely.
Oh,
That's what it is.
Very interesting. How do you move it? Do you have somebody run over there and move it wherever you want it to point?
Well, we have a rotor down there. We hope to hook it up. And, of course, this is a lazy man's way of doing it. I suggested he turn it by hand, but he wants to try to turn it with a rotor, fancy it up a little bit.
Okay, so this is a motor that gives you remote control capability
Right.
of pointing the beam where you want it to go. Fascinating. Anything else you would like to tell the viewers?
What are you going to do when it rains?
We got tents. We got trucks. We got big field tile back there we can get in.
Question was, what are they going to do when it rains? Yes, those are field tile. Fortunately, it looks like they're not hooked into any stream or anything where they're supposed to carry water when it rains, are they?
No, I think they're used for kids to play in, so we try to utilize everything we can. After a big windstorm or a big blow like an emergency, it's hard to tell what's laying around. So we try to utilize what's laying around, the junk and all that good stuff. So hams are pretty resourceful. They can use about anything.
That's great. Well, I guess that helps me feel a little more secure about if in an emergency that you could make do with whatever happens to be.
Well, it comes from old Marine Corps training too, on bivouac a lot.
All right.
Field day is underway. Jeff King is sitting in the back of his truck with radio down in a shady spot, and he's talking to other stations all across the United States. How you doing, Marv?
Pretty good there, Ray.
Any idea how many contacts you've made so far?
All that?
Any idea how many contacts you've made so far?
Yep, 35.
35.
I'm going on 36. As soon as I can get this Arizona.
Okay, the fellow in Arizona, he's kind of hard to get a hold of.
You better believe it. They're right on top of him.
Okay. Well, I liked your shoulder out here.
I got everything but a shave.
Everything
I got all
is...
kind of wind.
Okay.
Only ice.
Okay. There's his antenna. And he's in contact with the world here at Field Day, June the 25th, 1988. Is the thing about it. Here is one antenna set up for Field Day. 6-meter antenna on the top, an 80-meter antenna on the side of the tower, and the radios are back inside the shed.
Whiskey 8 Golf Victor Bravo. This is your 2 Alpha, South Carolina from N4 EO.
You are 4 Alpha, Ohio.
QSL 4 Alpha, Ohio, men, but the call sign is November 4, easy, easy. November 4, Echo, Echo. QSL.
USL, November 4, Echo. Can you say the nation one more time, please?
2 Alpha, South Carolina, 2 Alpha, South Carolina, QSL.
USL, 3 Alpha, South Carolina. Good luck, old man.
QSZ, November 4, Echo,
Just
Echo.
left out another contact in the contest, and this station is in South Carolina. It's a little different form of amateur communications. The contact points are the same. Eric, turn around and tell us, what are you doing here at Field Day?
Well, this is packet radio.
Okay, and explain packet to us just a little bit.
What it is it's similar to a modem that you would use on a computer. What we're doing is we're actually talking to a different computer or another computer with another packet modem. And a modem operates at a 1200 baud, similar to what you would get on the telephone line.
Okay.
So we're trying to connect to a station here using what they call digipeaters, going through a Mount Gilead digipeater, and then we're going to Worcester and Akron.
And I think you connected?
No, No, we didn't connect yet. I'm gonna just about finish doing it here.
Okay. So now you're trying to talk to a station where?
We're trying to talk to a station here, unknown at the present
Unknown?
time.
Unknown?
WD8LLB. We're trying to get to him.
Okay, and you are going through a Mount Gillian repeater, another
Worcester.
repeater in Mount Vernon,
No, Worcester.
Worcester,
And Akron.
and Akron.
And I don't know where this guy's at.
Okay. So you're going through all those repeaters and you're trying to make contact with that,
We just did it.
and you just made contact. I'll let you go back to him. Okay, and they are in contact. He says, hello there. Are you there? And now let's see what the other man's going to send back.
It's going to take a while to get through all these different stations.
Okay. Now, his message has gone out to that station, and there is so much traffic, and there's time sharing on all these digi repeaters. So it may take a while before the other fellow's message gets back to Sir. Field day is a time for a person to try out all their friends quick. Okay, now we're trying to figure out where he is. Okay, he is. Okay, did you find out where he is?
We found out, he said he's 4 Alpha, Ohio. We're going to find out exactly where he's at.
Okay. And we're trying to find out exactly where he is. He's somewhere here in Ohio. And it's unknown exactly where he is at this time, but